We are officially 1/3 of the way through the college football season. So let's talk about 3 observations I've had through the first 4 weeks of Texas State's football season. Welcome back to Wizard Wednesday. I'm your host, Zach, and Texas State is 3-1 after the first 4 weeks of the season. Going into the bye week, 3-1. It's hard to ask for much more. I guess you could ask for 4-0, but the Arizona State team's pretty good. Hard to beat them at home. So I'm happy. There's absolutely nothing today that has me worried about Texas State football. I'm certainly not looking at any flight trackers or worrying about the state of Oklahoma. Okay, beyond that, there's nothing to worry about if you're a Texas State fan right now. The whole season is in front of us. Everything that we would like for this team to accomplish is still accomplishable. And so let's look at 3 observations that I've had so far this season. We're going to have some positives, maybe some room for improvement, and then kind of a look at the landscape of the Sun Belt. But let's dive right in. My first observation is Brad Jackson is as advertised. Coming into this season, over the summer, in the spring, if we want to go back that far, there was a conversation about a quarterback battle. There were 4 or 5 quarterbacks it could have been. And yet, every time we saw the team on the field, which was not much in spring practice, I would say that, but we did see in the spring game, Brad Jackson run out there first, early and often. During the fall camp, we saw Brad early and often. And it was really no surprise when he got named the starter based on everything that we were seeing, everything that we were hearing. But I would say what has surprised me is the poise that he has as a redshirt freshman. Now, that was what we were being told. GJ told us behind the scenes, told us in front of press conferences, players, anytime we were around them, and they had great things to say about Brad going back to last year. But it really is impressive to know how young he is and how well he's doing on and off the field. I think he has a lot of leadership qualities for his age and for his experience level that you're seeing. But also he is handling pressure really, really well. The pressure of having a whole program on his back, having an offense that has a stellar reputation, and having to uphold that and manage that. He's doing it really well. He's making, for the most part, great decisions, and he is moving this offense. He is making this offense run. Now, when you look at the stats, do the passing yards and passing TDs, do they jump off the stats like maybe a TJ Finley did through 4 games? No, they absolutely don't. Does it look as efficient? Does he have like the accuracy of Jordan McLeod? He doesn't. No, those numbers aren't there. And yet, I say that not to knock Brad, but to say that I would take Brad over those 2 guys in this offense because he's moving the ball efficiently. He is making the right decisions. He is a very big part of the run game. We haven't had any conversations, any discussions about whether or not he's a dual threat quarterback. He's absolutely a dual threat quarterback. He has 5 touchdowns on the ground this year. He is the biggest threat that we have in the red zone. And those touchdowns have not been particularly, they've been wide open for him because he has the speed and the ability to make the decision. And you can't cover everyone in that situation, right? You can't cover all the wide receivers, stop the run, and worry about Brad going outside, or running outside, which is what he's been doing. So Brad has been as advertised. Let's take a look at some of the stats here just to go through. So we have through 4 games, he's 68 for 102, 66% completion rating there, which is not bad. For 864 yards, 8.5 yards per attempt, so per passing attempt. He has 6 touchdowns to the air, 1 interception, only 1 interception, that UTSA interception. And then longest 73. He's been sacked 7 times, which with the mobile quarterback, with him kind of running around, that's going to happen, for 155.3 rating. The rushing stats, he has 43 carries, 128 yards on the ground, average of 3 yards, but he has 5 through the air. So what is that? Total touchdowns through 4 games, he's accounted for 11 touchdowns. So not bad. Not bad at all. I think he's young. I think he's going to get better. I've been on record a couple different times saying that he needs to slow down. I think he's starting to slow down. It's not there yet, but he is starting to slow down, trust his offensive line, go through his progressions, and he's started to make some real big boy throws. There was a crossing route to Kylan Evans that he layered in right over the top of a DB, and he had a safety over top, but he kind of tucked it right in the corner. It was beautiful. So he has tremendous upside, and beyond his upside, he's already showing what he can do. We can win with him as he is now, but if he continues to progress at the rate that he's currently progressing, Sunbelt better watch out. So that was a lot about Brad. Let's go on to my second observation. And I've been a defender of Dex, and I'm going to continue to defend the DC Dexter McCoyle. But I will say this defense has been dealing with some injuries, but we're seeing some drop off from the last couple of years. We're certainly seeing some drop off. There were tackling issues early in the year. I think that's getting better. But the problem is we're still getting gashed up the middle in the run game, and they didn't give up a touchdown. Nicholls State was able to drive down the field. We got an interception, the first turnover of the year we got in the end zone last week, which is great. But we're not seeing tackles for loss. We're not seeing a lot of sacks at the rate that we were the last couple of years, and we're certainly seeing that we are susceptible for the run up the middle. I don't think the sky's falling on defense. I don't even think that it's a tremendous drop-off from the last couple of years. But I think that if you look at the defensive production versus the last couple of years, I mean, at this point last year, we were either tied or first for total tackles for loss. We're not on the list this year. We're a little leaky. The DBs are not as experienced, I think, in this system, and we're dealing with injuries. I say that to say the defense is going to have to get a little better if we want to get where we want to go. We're going to have to figure out the pass rush. The pass rush has got to be, we have got to get home far more often, and we've got to be able to run defend. Running against us has been a highly successful proposition for the opposing offense this year. We did better against Nicholls State, but again, it's Nicholls State, right? It's an FCS program that is decent, but it's not a top 10 FCS program, I would say. I know there's a lot made about the rivalry between Texas State and Nicholls State. I just want to go on record here and say it's not a rivalry. FBS programs don't have rivalries with FCS programs. I get that there's a paddle, and I'm glad that we have the paddle. If I could choose whether we have the paddle or we don't have the paddle, I'd rather have the paddle. But it's like taking a paddle from a little kid, right? Like there's not a big level of competition there. We maybe should have scored more points against Nicholls State, but I won't make this a whole Nicholls State thing. But it's not a rivalry, guys. Let's not put too much stock into that. That being said, against an FCS team, the FCS team, we were bottled up the run a little bit, but they were still able to get some yards. I'd like to see that improve as we go into the Sun Belt and make sure that we're able to stop better teams. We weren't very successful in stopping the run game against UTSA. Obviously, they have a good running back, so we'll see what it looks like. I don't think we've had a true test of what we can do, and so we'll see. But if we want to get where we want to go, defense has to get just a little better. And finally, my third observation through 4 weeks of the college football season is that the Sun Belt and the Sun Belt West especially is there for the taking. This is a great opportunity. There isn't a team in the Sun Belt or the Sun Belt West that is head and shoulders better than Texas State right now. I would say if you are on the outside looking in, Texas State is the team to beat in the West. That being said, we've seen them falter, have good teams, good offenses, and falter in Sun Belt play. So it's not a certainty that we're going to win the Sun Belt West, but it's there. I mean, ULL is a completely different team than they've been the last couple of years. I am not ready to say that they're a bad team, but I can certainly say they're not a great team. They're talking about firing head coaches over there. They can't do it, but they're talking about firing head coaches. When's the last time you heard ULL talk about firing a head coach? It's there for the taking. Southern Miss looks good. They look just about the way that I expected them to look. It would not surprise me if they continue to get better as the year goes on, but they're certainly beatable. They're beatable at home when we go travel there. So you look at Southern Miss, they're 1-0 in Sun Belt play, 2-2 overall. ULM looks decent, but again, I don't. No one looks scary. No one is that big of a challenge to where I look at it and say there's no way. Even JMU, who is in the East, but we're gonna have to play them at home on a Tuesday. That's a winnable game. It's a challenging game, but it's a winnable game. The other games I would imagine we're going to be favored in. Even some of these away games, I would imagine we're going to be favored in. So it's there for the taking. There's only one Sun Belt team in the whole Sun Belt that has won 3 games, and that's Texas State. Now, the scheduling has been different. You know, some teams haven't even played 4 games yet. JMU has played, I think, 3 games. Some teams, had bad draws and playing like, Alabama or Georgia, whatever. The point being is that it's a great opportunity to get this monkey off of our back, to win the Sun Belt, and then ride victoriously west to the Pac-12 with a championship banner to boot. That would be amazing. I think it's doable. I'm looking at all these teams here and their stats, and it's not the Sun Belt of old. This is a weakened Sun Belt. So why not take advantage of that? All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your observations through 4 games? I know maybe there is some chatter about a certain head coach opening in Oklahoma State. I don't think we need to get into that. I think that's a little bit of a distraction. That's not something I want to do on here. If you want to hear my thoughts about that, join the Spaces on Tuesday. Shameful plug for the Spaces, but join the Spaces and I'm sure you'll hear all of my opinions on that, but that's not for here yet. If the smoke starts getting a little bit more smoky, then maybe we'll do a whole episode here, but I'm not in the business of doing that yet. I don't want to do purely speculation. Or is it? Anyways, like and subscribe, comment below. Please make sure to follow us, Win Now or Get Bent, on all of the socials. We are WNOGB on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. We are at Win Now or Get Bent. Be sure to, if you're interested, join the Patreon. That helps us out quite a bit to kind of keep this thing rolling. Yeah. And I think that's it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I'll see you next week.